guys, so I am here to do my monthly wrap up. I am reading technically 4 books at the moment, so there probably will be more that I finish within the next 2 days, whether it be TV shows, movies, or books. This is the majority of what I have finished for this month, so I wanted to come on here and do my monthly wrap up for January. I do not have all of the books and the movies and TV shows I've watched on Netflix, so I do not have them with me as well. The first part of this is going to be TVs and movies that I've watched. I'll start with movies because those are the fewest of the things that I've seen. So the first movie that I saw, technically I think I saw it in December, but I did see it again in January. But I saw Star Wars The Last Jedi, which is the new Star Wars film in the new trilogy, I guess you would say. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I do very much enjoy the new trilogy rather than any of the old movies. I do love the old movies, don't get me wrong. The prequels are not my favorites, but the first 3 original Star Wars I do enjoy. Force Awakens would be my favorite, but I did enjoy The Last Jedi. I feel like it had a lot of good cinematic parts to it. I enjoyed the characters. There was a couple of instances that I was kind of bored. It went a little bit slow. Kylo Ren, I'm not really connecting with. I don't like him as a villain. I understand that there's a conflict within him, which if you've seen The Force Awakens, you already know, so that's not a spoiler. There were parts of it that I was not thrilled with, but I did enjoy the movie. It was 100% better than Rogue One. I will say that. I did stay awake for this whole movie. So again, I did enjoy this. The only reason I gave it 4.5, that extra 0.5 is because there were a lot of slower parts that I was not a huge fan of. Then the next movie that I saw was the new Disney movie Coco, which I fell in love with. I gave that 5 out of 5 stars. I don't want to give away anything. This is spoiler-free reviews. I didn't like the way they told the story in the beginning, but I was very impressed with the entire movie. I loved the Day of the Dead, so it was really cool to see a movie about that. And I loved that Disney didn't just tell us a love story or tell us a coming to age story in this. They put a lot of traditions and history in it and put Spanish into the movie, and I liked that. A lot of kids nowadays probably don't even know what the Day of the Dead is, and so it's nice to see newer stories coming out to not only teach kids but show the traditions and the old school ways. Love that movie so much. I love the music. I love the spins in it. I never saw what was coming. So definitely a good movie. I did not walk into that movie with any hopes at all. I thought I was not going to like it, and I came out absolutely loving it. I was actually crying by the end of the movie. The next 4 movies that I watched, I have seen 3 of them. So the next movie that we've watched, I've actually seen, but we just wanted to rewatch it because we haven't seen it for a while, and it's Saving Mr. Banks. It's yet again another Disney movie. If you do not know what Saving Mr. Banks is, it is kind of the story of Mary Poppins. P.L. Travers is the person that wrote the Mary Poppins books. Disney was trying to get the rights to Mary Poppins to make the movie. And so this is kind of him with P.L. Travers getting the rights and making the movie of Mary Poppins. And there's a lot of backstory with P.L. Travers, and I absolutely love it. I cry every single time. It is a wonderful movie, and if Mary Poppins is one of your favorite Disney movies, you have to see this movie. So I also watched the first 3 Pirates movies. The first one obviously is Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. The second one is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. And the second one is Pirates of the Caribbean At World's End. I had not seen the third one, or at least I don't think I have. The first 2 I have seen multiple times, and I love them. I love the Pirates movies. I love Jack Sparrow. I love Johnny Depp playing Jack Sparrow. I had never seen the third one, I don't believe, but that is now my new absolute favorite of the first 3 Pirates movies. Obviously, there's a 4th, and they just came out with a 5th, so once me and Sarah can sit down and watch them, we will be watching those. And if you would like, I can do a full-on review of all of the 5 Pirates movies that are out. But as of right now, of the first 3 I've watched, the third one, At World's End, is my favorite of the 3. So now on to the TV shows that I've finished or started watching. So the first ones I'll talk about are the ones that I finished. So some of the things that I finished this month is Southern Charm. This is a show about a whole bunch of people. I think it's about 5 or 6 people that live in the South, and they are supposedly upper class and people of society. And it's kind of just about their lives, about their traditions and their drama. It's a reality show. And I absolutely love it. I love the rowdiness of it. I love the difference of characters. I love the drama that you wouldn't think would be in a high society world, especially down in the South. One of my favorite things is one of the guys' mother thinks that she is too society to go on the reunion shows, and I think that's funny. It kind of reminds me of like Housewives, but on a lower scale. Southern Charm, I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars for that whole series. So the next one I watched is actually a show that is canceled now, and I'm actually kind of really sad that it canceled, and it is the Playboy Club. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with Playboy, not like the naked chicks because I'm a lesbian. I don't know. I love the intrigue, like that all these girls want to be this icon that isn't really a big icon, and it's just the mysteries that go on within the mansion and the society of it, and it's intriguing. And so I watched the Playboy Club, which, if you didn't know, way back when there was actually clubs that you could go to that were the Playboy clubs. You would only be able to get in if you were kind of high society and rich and could buy your way in. This was the club where the traditional Playboy outfits came out with the big ears. The one-piece swimsuit type thing was worn with the little bunny tail and the high heels, and they would go around with drink trays, and some would dance, and they would have talent like show type things. And so this show revolves around that. There is like a new bunny in town, and there's a lot that happens to her and around her, and things that she knows that she shouldn't know, and it's just a lot of like drama and intrigue in it, and I just absolutely loved it. Like I said, I gave the series 5 out of 5 stars. I wish it wasn't canceled. So the next one that I finished, I had already started this previously, but I finished it in this month, is Orphan Black. It got canceled last year, I believe, and I hadn't watched the last 2 seasons, I think it was, and so I needed to catch up. I believe there's 5 seasons in total. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But Orphan Black is about clones. This is an amazing show. It does have a lot of scientific stuff within it, so you kind of have to focus a little bit on the show. But I really liked it. I love the person that plays the clones, and yes, it's one person that plays all of them. I absolutely loved this show. I loved how they thought of this concept and how there's so many clones and you don't even know how many are out there. But I watched the last 2 seasons this month to finally finish it off. I'm sad that they canceled the show, but it is a very good show. I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars only because there was a lot of heavy scientific talk, which if you are not as smart as like a college science major, which I'm not, it's a little hard to follow, but if you focus along with it and you kind of read into some of the other context clues, you understand it. There is a book out that's the Scientology of Orphan Black, which I really want to read, but I feel like I'm not going to understand it. The next one that I finished was Marvelous Miss Mazal. This is a TV show on Amazon Video. I had heard a lot about this. I heard that it was really good and that it was going up for a lot of awards. So I wanted to try it out. It was only 1 season, only like 10 episodes, I think, or 5 episodes or something. So I thought, well, why not just give it a chance? I was kind of in between shows that I wanted to watch anyway, so I tried watching it and I absolutely loved it. This is about a girl, Miss Mazal, that it's quite a long time ago, and she gets married. And obviously I don't want to spoil anything, I don't want to tell you anything, but eventually she becomes a comedian. And it's kind of like her life through her life drama and being a comedian, and it is absolutely hysterical. The next show that me and Sarah finished this month is Slasher. It is 2 seasons on Netflix. I wasn't too thrilled with this show. The first season was good. The second season was stupid. I had been hearing so many things about this show. I love serial killers. I love the intrigue and mind of them, and I like watching these types of things. So as soon as I saw that it had something to do with that kind of a thing, I needed to see the show. So me and Sarah started watching it, and like I said, the first season was pretty good. It was not something that I saw coming, but it was pretty good. Then we went on to the second season. The second season didn't have to be filmed because it was horrid. By the end, it was okay, but I didn't like it as much as the first season whatsoever. It's a good show. I would probably give it around 3 out of 5 stars just because, like I said, the second season was horrible, and also because it is kind of gory. There are a lot of parts that I kind of couldn't watch because, like, it literally, like, you saw people die, and I'm not good with blood and gore like that. So it was a little hard to watch some parts of the show. So like I said, with that and how bad the second season was, I did give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Now on to the books that I read this month. I have a list of some of them because, like I said, I do not have all of them with me. So the very first one I finished this month is Cast No Shadow. This is a graphic novel. I loved this book. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I thought that the artwork was absolutely beautiful. I thought the concept was nice. I loved how freely that this plot flowed. I felt like they wrote and or didn't write at the perfect times. I feel like the author of this did a wonderful job. I read this very quickly. Such a good graphic novel. The next one I read was Star Wars Made Easy. Like I said, I watched some of the Star Wars films. I like Star Wars, but sometimes it's a little confusing if you're going between movies. So I thought I might as well read this just to make sure I know everything, you know what I mean? So this book is really cool. It has every single movie broken down in every part. It has any major questions that I'm sure you all have broken down and told to you. All the characters, all of the plot twists, the TV show, the new movies, everything. It literally explains everything, and I love it. Good versus evil, lightsabers, how they're made, who this person is, who that person is, why did they do this, why did they do that, everything. And I absolutely loved it. This I gave 5 out of 5 stars again. So the next book I read was so far one of my favorites in January, and it is The Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. I absolutely adored this book. This is going to be a series. This is about a boy that is a magician, and he is running away from his uncle and kind of ends up in the, not arms, but in the company of 3 other magicians, and life happens. I don't want to say much, and like I said, it is a series, so I cannot wait for the next one to come out. I definitely gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I thought Neil Patrick Harris did a wonderful job writing this. I think he added pictures within it at the perfect spots. I loved the artwork. I loved everything about this book. I cannot wait for the next one to come out. So the next one that I read was Graveyard Shakes. This is another graphic novel, which I absolutely loved. I thought it was really cute. I loved the coloring. I loved the concept. I loved the artwork. It seemed to be a little choppy here or there. I did give it a 5 out of 5 stars, but it seemed like there could be a little bit more improvement. I feel like it was kind of like on their last leg, and they're like, you know what, fine, it's good, send it out. And it was good, but there could have been a little bit more of improvements within it. So the next 6 that I read a lot this month, and I am so proud of myself. But the next 6 that I read are Magic Tree House books. I know, these are kid books, and I'm 27 years old, but I absolutely adore the Magic Tree House series. I used to read these when I was a kid, and I want my kids to read them when I get older. One of my biggest goals this year was to read this entire series. I believe they're still writing, and they're up to like 50 or something. Probably not, but they're up pretty far. And so I really wanted to get through some of these this year, not this month, this year. And I'm actually getting pretty far. So I read 10 and 11, which I do not have. I don't remember what there's names were called, but I read 12, which is Polar Bears Past Bedtime, 13, Vacation Under the Volcano, 14, Day of the Dragon King, and 15, Viking Ships at Sunrise. And then I have 16 through 21 from the library now, so I will hopefully be finishing those within the next month and possibly more. I absolutely love these. If you have kids that want to try to read, get them these. They are very short. There are big writing. There are pictures throughout the whole thing. There are only 10 chapters. It's something that all kids would enjoy because they go and do these adventures. You don't have to read them in order. It's not absolutely necessary, but I would suggest to read them in order because there are some times, like say if I read number 14 before I read 13, there could be something in 14 that happened in 13, and then it's kind of useless to read 13. So if you really care about the books and you want to read them, definitely read them in order. But I absolutely love the Magic Treehouse books. I give all of these 5 out of 5 stars. Well, most of them 5 out of 5 stars. There are a couple that I give a little bit lower of a rating. If you want to see my ratings on the individual books, you can go over my Goodreads. The next book, one of my biggest goals this year is I really want to finish the 2018 reading challenges. And one of the challenges is to read a poetry book. And I've been hearing about this book. I actually put a thing on my Facebook saying, hey, have any of you guys read some poetry books that you really liked that I should check out? And this was one of the ones that was suggested. So I thought, well, if I've heard such good things and people are suggesting it, let me get it. And it is Milk and Honey by, I'm going to butcher this person's name, Rupi Kaur. I'm sorry. I know I missaid it. This was a very, very, very good poetry book. It is actually very short. There are a lot of pages that are very blunt and to the point, but then there were some that was a little bit longer. I absolutely loved this. I do think it's a little mature for anyone under 18, but I absolutely loved this. I thought it was a very good coming of age and learning opportunity. In this, it has the hurting, the loving, the breaking, and the healing. So all 4 parts in there. And I feel like you learn something as you go through it. Obviously, this is her story and her kind of going through these herself, but you can learn something from it, and I think that's beautiful. I did give this one a 4.5 out of 5. The only reason it did not get that extra 0.5 is because it does have a lot of mature content in here, and some of it I didn't really care to read. It seemed to me like it was kind of like that's for behind closed doors instead of a public poetry book, but obviously she can do whatever she wants. It came off really great and beautiful, so in the end it was a really good book. So the last book that I have for you is Spinning by Tilly Walden. This is a graphic novel. It is a chunker of a graphic novel, and everything in here is kind of like a purplish hue, but I absolutely loved this graphic novel. I heard this from one of my people that I watch on here on BookTube, and I had never heard of it before, but this is a second graphic novel, which is one of my favorite publishing groups ever for graphic novels, and I absolutely loved it. This is about a girl. She's an ice skater. Her name is Tilly, so I believe it's a kind of like an autobiography graphic novel. And she goes through a lot. There's a lot of bullying within it. There's a lot of sexual harassment. She's going through the coming out process, and it's just, there's a lot in here, and it's a very big coming of age story, and it did take me a couple days to get through it because it's pretty chunky, but I think it's a really good book, and it really spoke to me, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. So that is everything for my wrap up. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, or would like a bigger review on anything that I spoke of today, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll definitely get back to you about them and film a full-on review for you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.